Welcome back to our YouTube channel or our platform, and thank you so much for joining today. So in this video I'm going to be telling you some documents that you need if you got admissions to study in Portugal, or some documents you need to apply to a study visa to Portugal, which is going to be the national D type visa. I'm going to talk about the documents to you. I will give you the list, then I will talk about some schools that you should check. Remember, I didn't say these schools are open. What I'm saying is you should check them out to be sure if there is an open university or a school which is still accepting applications, you can apply. In my last video you are going to watch, I mentioned in that video that there are 3 phases for application into schools in Portugal. So please make sure you watch that video to the end and understand what you are actually looking for, so that you do not get confused along the way, because in this video I will talk specifically only on visa application and some little details that you need to understand. Now guys, please, what you need to do is to share this video. I'm going to be looking at my device here, okay, so that I can give you accurate information. But before I even talk about that, please, there are things I want you to know if you really want to immigrate to Portugal. First of all, learn a skill. Doesn't matter if you are moving just to Portugal or not, but like I said, learn a skill. You can learn how to do barbing, or maybe you can learn how to barb hairs. You can learn how to do makeup or stuff like that, you get. Or you can go into IT and learn something, but this should be when you are already ready to move, when you already know that you would be moving. Learn something like that, because when you go abroad for the first maybe 5 months, 3 to 5 months, you may not get a job, except that you are in a big city or in big cities. It depends, okay? You can get it easily, but I'm just telling you something that may sustain you. And even IT now, most people getting jobs abroad are into IT. So you should learn these things. And also remember that when it comes to Portugal, many countries in Africa do not have the Portuguese embassy. I think they have an embassy in Abuja, Nigeria. So Ghanaians and Cameroonians, please, Ghanaians, you have a consulate in Ghana, but you cannot apply for the visa there. But I think you can do submission of your documents to be taken to Nigeria and to Portugal. Then Cameroonians, check if the VFS Global in Yaoundé can actually do the transfer of your documents to you to Nigeria and then Portugal. Remember, your visa is going to come from Portugal, not from Nigeria, so you have to put this into consideration. Also understand that I'm going to be telling you things here, and I will talk about the proof of funds. And remember, when you are doing proof of funds, put into consideration cost of living in Portugal, because to live in Portugal, rents, fees, internet and everything, transportation, you are going to spend a lot of money. Just accommodation alone, if you really want to stay alone, let's just say you want to share an apartment but live in your own room, expect to pay between 350 euros to like close to 500 euros, depending on the room, depending on the location as well. So you should put this into consideration. And remember, if you live in Lisbon and Porto, you may get a job easily, but if you live far away, it might take you some time to get a job, but there are part-time jobs. So put this into consideration. Now let's talk about some of the things that you need to know before I even go ahead with these schools and the requirements. Please remember, when it comes to insurance, try to buy from Alliance Insurance, or you can buy from Swisscare online. You may equally buy from Euro Assist or even AXA Insurance, but I would prefer Alliance. But if you are going to Finland, use Swisscare. When it comes to the proof of funds, I'm going to talk about it. It's one of the documents that you need to submit to the Portuguese embassy for visa application. So when it comes to the proof of funds, I would say that you should pay attention to the details. Anybody can sponsor you to study in Portugal, but you should understand that even if you get a sponsor, you should also have money in your own account. Try to have your own account. Okay, let's assume that something happens to your sponsor. What will you do if you are already in Portugal? So you should have some money in your own account. And also remember that your sponsor should also write a sponsorship letter for you if he is going to sponsor you. And equally, also have money in your own account, like I said. and do not do bulk deposit. Build your account slowly, like, and make it an active account. Of course, you know what an active account is. If you see an active account, you are going to know, right? So make it an active account. And remember, if you are getting a sponsor to study in Portugal, like I said, watch the other video I did before you watch this one. Okay, now if you are going to be sponsored, make sure you have at least 3,200, or let's just say 3,400 euros in your sponsor's account before the sponsor can write a sponsorship letter for you. That should be like close to 1.3 million to like 2 million for Cameroonians. For Ghanaians, I think it should be something closer to like 50,000 cedis. Then if you are sponsoring yourself, make sure you have at least 8,000 euros in your personal bank account. And please, you have to show evidence of all this money, where the money is coming from. And again, if you are going to be moving, remember I said if you are sponsoring yourself, 8,000 euros is good to be in your account. If you are going to be moving with your spouse, because you can move to Portugal with your family, right? I mentioned this before. If you are moving with your spouse, make sure you have like 12,000 euros. 4,000 for your spouse, 8,000 for you. Okay, but if you are moving with your spouse and your child, or let me just say one child, make sure you have at least 16,000 euros. That's 4,000 per individual. Then if you are moving with your spouse and 2 children, you should have at least 20,000 euros. So this is basically, Portugal somehow is not that complicated when it comes to proof of funds. Now we have talked about the little details, and let's take a look at some universities in Portugal. Remember, I have said many times that not all universities in Portugal have the same requirements. Not every school in Portugal will charge you the same tuition. Some will tell you to pay in installments, and some might give you 5 installments. Some may give 10. It depends on the university, by the way. But if you are looking for schools in Portugal, you can apply to check Nova University of Lisbon, check a University of Porto. You can take a look at the University of Lisbon. You can equally consider University of Algarve. You can also look into the website of University of Aveiro, and you can equally put this one into consideration, Polytechnic Institute of Braga. So these are just some few schools I just want you to take. I equally talk about University of Evora, and there is a lot, and in fact there are many of them. Now, if you are looking for English programs, this is where your work begins. You have to go to the school website and check those that are offering courses for you in English. When I see comments like, Milton, which one is open, which one is accepting application, please do your due diligence. Milton cannot do everything for everybody. I only drop these things here because I believe it's the most important one for everybody. But if I see an open school and I think it's somehow reasonable, or maybe it has a lot of programs which are unique, I will share it here. But again, do your due diligence. When it comes to visa application, you need documents to submit for visa, and like I said before, it's not about submitting documents. You need to get the documents together. Let's take a look at the documents you need to apply for your national D-type visa to Portugal. Remember, the student visa is always a D-type visa. Okay, then you need birth certificate. That's document number 1. And this birth certificate, I think you have to do confirmation from the High Court, and also you need to legalize this document at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And when going to the embassy, you take a copy with you alongside the original. Also, you need to get a criminal certificate, that's the police character or the police clearance. This is to prove that you have not been locked up before, you are not a criminal, and so many other things. This document must go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be legalized as well, and you need a photocopy of it to go during the visa application. And also, you need your school certificates and your transcripts. If you do not have a bachelor's degree, then you need just your school certificate certified by the Ministry of Education before you take it now to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Then you also do a copy of it. Then you also need 2 passport size photographs. Remember, This passport size photograph must be on a white background. It's so important for you to consider all of these things so that you do not go to the embassy, because some people will go and do it in red or any assorted background. No, get with it in a white background. Then also remember that the letter of acceptance from the school has to come alongside with a copy too. So when you get admissions to a school, you have to print the letter of acceptance, then you photocopy it as well. All the documents must have one copy each. So please put all these things into consideration. Then evidence of accommodation in Portugal, you need that as well. So please try and get accommodation so that you can supply the evidence and a copy of it. Then also medical report. They need to run medical reports on you. That's do everything. Syphilis, gonorrhea, all those things, HIV, tuberculosis, all those things. It needs to, like when you go and do your medicals, all right, they will give you a sheet that contains all these results on it. And again, remember that in case you want to go for the medicals, please, that it must be a general hospital or a government recognized hospital in your home country. This is what I support, and I think this is what is good. So guys, take a look at it. Then also you need travel insurance. Remember, you are not paying this insurance. You can just book and you keep it. Okay, you are not paying for it. Now, just an additional thing I want to say, like I said before, anybody can sponsor you. Then you also need to know that the University of Cumbria, I didn't mention it among these schools, but remember that if you get admission at the University of Cumbria, then you pay a deposit. If your visa is rejected, they don't give you back. So read the school website properly so that you don't make mistakes, and there are available student jobs. Now, for proof of funds, you can supply a bank statement which is just 3 months old. But remember, I already gave you the details you need to know in that bank statement. If it is your sponsor, then fine. If you are the one, you already know the figure. Then also you can give a guarantorship of 3 months bank statement. That's the bank statement of your guarantor. All right, a letter of explanation or sponsorship from your guarantor, and his identity card or international passport. Very important for you. The flight ticket must be a dummy ticket. I explained that before. Then there is a document you are going to fill when you are going for visa submission, visa application submission, or visa file. They call it a request for consultation. You will fill it at the point when you are going for your visa. It's so important. Then your passport page with past visas, your international passport first. Then if you have visas before, you've traveled before, you print those visas and of course you show them. So if you have 3 passports and your first passport has a lot of visas, don't leave it home and go with a new passport. Take it along with you so that they know that you've actually traveled. That's an advantage and a plus mark for you to easily get the visa. Then the tuition fee payment receipt, if you have it, any fees paid, you also need to add the receipt. Remember, since you do not have the embassy in your home country, in case you are applying from another country for your documents to go to Nigeria and then Portugal, you need to pay for it. So the fees varies from country to country. Like I said, please verify every detail so that you know what you are doing. Then the visa form. Visa form is always going to be on the embassy's website. So please, you can check from there and let us see if the form is actually, but it's not going to be difficult. I'm just telling you that there is a form called a visa form. So please take it from the embassy's website and we will meet again in another one. Do not forget that this is the final phase of application. If you do not apply now, then you may not move again this year. That is September. I hope this video helps you. We are going to meet again in other episodes. Please share the video and like the video so that many people can see this. Till we meet again. Bye bye.